Hello, welcome to the Roy Rogers News Channel. Anyway, today, an urgent announcement. Robofeind has been moving like crazy. Well, I mean, uh, moving up and down. So with me now is the man himself, Robofeind. Thank you for coming on to the Roy Rogers News Network.
Howdy, no problem.
Yeah, so I would like to ask, I have a list, and don't worry, I'll provide a link of Robofeind's thread, but I want to ask each Pokemon individually. So we're going to start with the moving up first. Okay, from UU to OU, Porygon, Porygon 2, I should say, or why did you choose to move Porygon 2?
Well, I guess I should preface this by saying that we didn't choose to move anything necessarily, but that this is sort of a byproduct of the way we have the tiering mechanism set up. So we ban things up based on usage or down based on usage. So Porygon and Umbreon became OU in the wake of banning Snorlax and Blissey. They're pretty good special balls, so people started using them in OU, hence they're not UU anymore by usage.
Oh, nice. And then I would like to ask specifically. I mean, how about I've seen. I don't. And this kind of confuses me as to. I mean, I've seen a bit of Absols, but I'm curious why you moved it down from UU to NU.
Uh, it was actually in NU and it got moved up.
Oh, so you moved it back down, right?
No, it was moved up because it was used on like 5% of teams, and that was over the cutoff percentage.
Oh, oops. Sorry about the.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. There we go. I want to provide my viewers with accurate information. Apologize for the journalism malpractice for a minute. uh, so I want to also ask for you now. Now it's time for move down because I see that they moved just a few up, but now I want to talk about the ones moved down. So
Uh-huh.
since we are in the UU list already, I want to ask specifically, and I know people are probably going to get really pissed off at the moment, but why'd you move Dusclops from OU to UU?
Well, again, it was one of those Pokemon that has really low usage. So, uh, according to the way that we agreed to do things, um, it's got to get moved down. Granted, it doesn't have to stay in the tier, but so we could move it back up if we wanted, um, or I guess the UU Council could move it back up if they wanted. But since it's below 4% usage, we consider it being UU at this point,
Oh,
if that makes sense.
oh, all right, sure. So when so I'd like to ask if it's a what happens if it's used too much? Would you have something like an emergency meeting or something and then move Dusclops immediately up, or how does that all work?
Well, so it doesn't really matter to us if it's used too much. Um, I mean, if it's used a lot, there's a chance that it's just broken, and we're just going to ban it anyway. But since it's, uh, I don't know. I mean, the reasoning is it's probably not going to be used way too much, and if it is, then we're going to notice that there's something else wrong with it besides it being used too much. If that makes sense.
Oh yeah, yeah. And moving on, we have this one, which I kind of agree with you on this one. The Rhydon though, I think some people in the community told me that Rhydon's so strong, it's bulky and it's strong, and I'm like, okay. It has 4 times weakness to grass and water, but so I'd like that. So is Rhydon also based upon usage statistics, or is it based upon an independent factor?
No, these are all just the results of this usage statistic thing that we implemented, which is, I mean, I admit it's really new to a lot of people because we hadn't done it before, but that's the way we're gonna do it now. Granted, Rhydon seems a little bit stronger than Dusclops in my opinion, just because it's so good at wall breaking. So it might end up getting banned back up. Um, but given how popular Crawdaunt and Vileplume and Slowking are, it may not be it may not be too strong. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see with Rhydon for sure.
Yeah, and also there's a lot of timid tentacruels out there in UU too.
Very true.
Yeah, so now we're gonna move on from UU to NU, which we got a lot to cover for
Right.
that. So first we're gonna start with Blastoise, and so some people at first, and they come on in the game that they're like, Blastoise being moved from UU to NU. But I'd like to. The reason why I have you on is because I want to ask for your input for Blastoise. Why do you think it's been underused?
Well, I mean, part of it's that it's struggled a lot since Choice Band came in. It's just frankly not that good. Um, and it just can't take the kind of hits in UU. It can't take a superpower from Hitmonlee and now that Flareon isn't used, it's not really necessary. Ironically, they're both going to NU, so we'll see what happens with all that. Um, but I'm tempted to think that it may be a little bit too strong there. I guess we'll see how that all pans out, just because it's got good coverage moves and um, it's just an altogether good Pokemon, especially when you consider that NU has less raw power in it than you did before.
Yeah. Um, I do want to ask about. Um, I'm gonna go like I'm gonna do this this Pokedex thing like in order like how the national dex does it. I'm not gonna be doing it like alphabetically. I'm gonna be doing it like
Okay.
yeah. So Firo. I know that the choice span. At first I saw a bit of some hype for Firo whenever the choice band came out, and then people were like, "Oh, we got to move it up to UU," and I'm just curious, what kind of made you step back and think that maybe Firo does belong back in NU?
Well, again, it's the usage thing where it wasn't used very much in NU or in UU because it was outclassed by Swellow. Um, so whether we like it or whether we like it or not, it's been replaced sort of, and therefore not used very much, and therefore NU by definition. But it might get banned. It's another one of those ones that's really strong. But um, that said, there's also like the whole thing with it. It's got it it lost its cool HP ground set, so it can't break things like Aggron or Golem anymore. So I guess we'll see with that.
Yeah, that's true. And um, let's see. Now we're um, oh my, Magmar. There's been actually I think I even commented on this on when you all had the discussion on Magmar. This was like a
Right.
while ago, but so many people were terrified of the belly drum set. Personally, are you terrified of the belly drum set for Magmar?
Honestly, I don't. I think Magmar's a bit overhyped. It's definitely good, but like I don't know. I just don't see it as being really meta breaking.
Yeah. And now we're gonna move on to the Gen 2 pokes. So since I don't know the Pokedex order for Gen 2, I'm gonna I'm gonna just randomly I'm just gonna pick these how you ordered them and stuff. So all right, so I would like to ask. I mean, I haven't seen Gligar used too much, but I mean, he does. Do people still use the Sword Stance set on Gligar?
As far as I know, they don't. Um, Gligar's interesting. I think it'll be an interesting add to the tier, honestly, because um, right now we have a lot of Hitmontops and a lot of Amphiroses and a good amount of Tangulas too. Um, and Gligar is cool because um, it stops them from becoming very effective.
Oh yeah. Oh, I almost forgot to cover Haunter. Uh, Man, Haunter seems to be the one that the people, kind of worry about in NU. Uh, do you worry about Haunter's fast Giga Drains and all that other stuff? Do you worry about that or not so much?
I'm actually really interested about it because Haunter, I mean, is one of those pokes that's not very good in UU. It's too frail and just can't survive. So it's kind of cool to see that it might get some usage in NU, but those stabs are pretty good. Sludge Bomb and Shadow Ball are scary, and I guess the only thing that stops it is Aggron, which is kind of true of Pharaoh too. So that'll be kind of interesting to see if that changes the tier a lot or what goes on with all that, you know.
Oh yeah. Uh, yeah, I was just showing my viewers a picture of Agron. Now I want to show specifically. I mean, Misdrevious seems to be the ghost of the tier. No, Pokemon joke intended, but it seems to be kind of like a ghost. It feels almost like Misdrevious doesn't exist. And do you think Misdrevious is underrated, or do you think it's or do you think that Misdrevious um, is just a bad Pokemon?
It's kind of hard to say. Mischievous is good for sure. It used to be great in UU. Um, and again, it's gonna be kind of cool to see it in NU because it's Ghost type and it stops um, like Hitmontop really well, for instance. Um, so that'll be kind of cool. But if the tier goes really wally, then uh, it might be a problem. I guess we'll kind of see on that one, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah.
If it's really wally, then it's going to be like just pursuit trap or perish trapping things, which is kind of undesirable. But I don't see it as being much of a threat compared to something like Furo or Blastoise, who are comparably really, really good.
Yeah. Um, I'd like to X to two.
Yeah, sure. Um, Zatu is pretty. I don't know. It's pretty bad in UU right now, but it's a good call minder, and it I guess it has potential. But to me, it's not super scary. I guess there are things that outspeed it already in the tier that might prevent it from becoming super overpowered. It does have a great sweeping move pool though, so I'm kind of excited actually that I didn't sell mine already because it might be really good.
Oh, nice. Now I'd like to ask about the speedy one of the bunch. Crobat. Oh man, Crobat is like it's like a speed monster in my opinion. What's your intake about this speedy poke?
Honestly, I'm not super scared about it. It's got kind of a bad move pool overall. Um, it's got a few cool tricks, but at the same time, it like doesn't have any good stabs or like any really good moves even. So I can't really see what it would be useful for. Um, it seems just kind of like it's missing something that it needs in order to really be effective. But I think it needs a boosting move or something to really be effective. Because even with Choice Band, it's like it just can't hit very hard. And again, Aggron is just there, and even though it's not used, if it ever got good, Aggron would just be there to stop it, you know.
Yeah. Um, I would also like to ask about, you know, um, now I'm going to ask about the last Pokemon here, and then I would like to then I'd like to ask about your personal intake about the Tier Council in general. But I would like to ask, our last Pokemon that got moved from UU to NU is Sneasel. What's your opinion on Sneasel?
I'm actually not super scared of Sneasel. It's cool to get another dark type in the tier since Absol's gone. Hopefully Sneasel can do some good there. Um, but I'm not super scared of it becoming a problem at all. Um, and yeah, I think it'll be good. It's really well checked by like Blastoise and even like current bulky waters in the tier can't. It's not. They're not afraid, and Hitmontop's sure ain't afraid. So um, I don't foresee it getting banned ever. I think it belongs in the tier, honestly.
Oh, nice. Uh, now, I would like to ask about your personal intake on the tier list council. So, um, there's some mis I can't pronounce it misconceptions about the tier list council. Some people say that, oh well, the tier list council just automatically chooses, well, that one's moving, that one's moving. Is it like a quick 1, 2, 3 process, or is it like if there's a Pokemon to be discussed? I know that you put on the forums, UU discussion this one, OU discussion this one, but um, do you quickly do you do like a quick ban on something, like quickly ban, like for instance Blissey, if Blissey like um let's just say Blissy's behavior was a bit naughty in OU, and you decide, hey, you know what, Blissy's acting a bit naughty, we have to ban it. uh, so I'd like to ask you something. Do you, is it just a quick ban? So since you get enough people saying, yeah, Blissey should get banned, or is it a long process of voting and of discussion? Like what goes on in the tier list council that the community doesn't really see that much?
Um, I guess honestly, it really varies depending on what the situation is. Um, I only really make decisions on OU, so I don't really know what goes on in the lower councils. But generally, it's something like someone on the tier council brings it up and is like, "Hey, this is a problem. We should discuss it." And then everybody else on the tier council is either like, "Yeah" or "No," for various reasons. And we all kind of just talk it over before there's a thread made, and then when things are a problem, usually people agree, or some people will agree, and those Pokemon will get moved or discussed officially by like the community. So it's really just very like, for instance, like Blissey was this Blissey Snorlax thing was like we discussed it a lot before bringing it forward to the community. Where other ones like Gengar, for instance, we were like because it's really like the best Pokemon in the tier right now. Um, so yeah, I guess it's sort of just here or there. I don't know what else to say.
But is it instant, or does it take time?
Well, so with like things like this automatic, like the thing that just happened with all these Pokemon getting moved up and down was automatic because it's a usage rate question, right? It's like we only are using usage rates to decide this. So it's either are they above the cutoff or are they below the cutoff. Um, and I guess what we saw was that um, is that there's just a few things that need to get moved around, and that's kind of be to be expected. And with time, some of this will get sorted out. Um, some things will definitely get moved. Like I said earlier, like things like Flareon and Blastoise are really good in the tier, and maybe even Gligar too. And they might need to reconsider them.
Nice. Uh, well, I I hear mixed opinions about Metacham. What's your opinion about it?
Bad. Not. It's not viable.
All right.
It's slow. Not as bulky as Heracross. Dies to Gengar. Um, no real advantages there, as far as I can tell.
Oh, all right. So, how about Machamp?
Nah, pretty bad. Again, Gengar is just too good. It just keeps it from being viable. It's like you got a good fighting type on your team, but it just has nothing to say to something like Gengar. Um, and it's also just too slow for really being useful, if you ask me.
How about I hear about some people that run careful. Machamp, would you encourage it personally as a tier list council member?
It's okay. Um, it's not like that bad, but I don't. I just don't see it as being cream of the crop. It's like you gotta absorb status with it, and then the bulk upset's kind of sketchy, and it's only got one stab and stuff like that just make it harder to use than something like Heracross, which is, in my eyes, a much better choice if you need a fighting type on your team.
Well, um, I would like to ask, um, how about uh, Doug Trio's Arena Trap?
Um, I think it's fine. I don't see it being a problem yet, so um, yeah, I don't really know. It's just it's a good poke, but it's not really that great. It's not even that used that much in OU.
All right, and so Slowbro, I see a lot of Slowbros and Vaporeons. Which one do you think is a better choice, Vaporeon or Slowbro?
Um, I actually like Vaporeon quite a bit, but I think Slowbro's got it in terms of being threatening because it's so good at setting up Calm Mind once its counters are eliminated, and then it just sweeps teams. So, in the hands of a good player, it's really I don't know, it's really a cool Pokemon.
Oh, nice. Uh, how would um well, what's your intake on Venusaur?
Venusaur's good. It's getting more popular, which is cool to see. Um, it definitely fulfills like a cool niche in the game. Um, being as bulky as it is and countering things like Ludicolo really well and all that, stopping electric type spam and focus punch Gengar, which I think it might be on the up and up again with Porygon 2 being used so much. Um, but yeah, it's it's good. It's got that good stab combo, but it's not great. It's not like Gyarados or something where I think it's really good.
Now, I would like to ask what I mean, I don't see Marowak used that much anymore, and some people are asking what's stopping the tier list council from moving Marowak from OU to UU.
Well, actually, we did it. It already happened once at the very beginning of the tier list creation when we created the UU tier. Um, Marowak was in the tier, but the UU council decided that it was too good, and they gave it the boot out. So it's just stuck in borderline forever. So it's never gonna. I don't think it's ever gonna be UU unless something drastic changes, where like Skarmory becomes UU somehow.
But even with Skymory, though, I mean, in all fairness to Skymory, but Marowak does have T Punch, though. If it's not, well, I mean, who would run Choice Band on Marowak? You can just hold Thick Club, but you can. But doesn't T Punch do a lot of damage to Skymory though?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying like it Like if Marowak was just too good for, it was just decided that Marowak was too good for UU, so it's just not going to be UU ever. It's like banned from UU,
All right.
even though no one uses it in OU.
Yeah. Um, and I had some people come up to me very mixed about this, but I've seen some people say, "Well, Flygon is good. It can counter against Metagross with the Earthquake. Well, why isn't Flygon used?" And I want to ask you, as a tier list council member, um why isn't Flygon used that much?
Honestly, it just lacks good defensive typing. It's like Quake Slide just isn't used very much in OU, and it's really good at stopping Quake Slide, but not much else besides that. And it doesn't really have the firepower that something like Metagross or Heracross has to sweep. So it's just not as popular, especially with more fast Pokemon lurking about nowadays.
All right. And Swampert.
Swampert's actually good, kind of underrated, but it's still not. It's not great for whatever reason. People don't like it that much.
Are people too scared of HP Grass Jolt?
That's part of it. Is that it doesn't really do good against a lot of special sweepers because they can run a coverage move against it. Um, and the other part is that it just isn't very threatening on offense.
Yeah. Um, what's your intake on the Curse Swampert?
On what?
On the Curse, like people sometimes run Curse Swamperts.
I actually think Curse is a good option for Swampert. I think it's underrepresented. Um, it's definitely a cool set, and it threatens a lot of things. Even just running Quake Slide, it's a cool set. Um, but there's always like sort of the curse of Curse where it makes you slow, and then anything that's faster than you can just beat you with a coverage move. You know?
Yeah. Um, I don't really encourage some people to run Rest on Swampert because some people say, "Hey, you should run Rest on Swampert," because considering the fact of how slow Swampert is and like a Jolt, the Jolt can just do HP Grass again and again and again and earn you Rest. You'll basically waste a turn. What's your intake on someone running Curse Rest instead of replacing Rest with like a third offensive move?
I mean, Rest seems like the obvious choice to me. Um, it makes up for the fact that the curse set's going to get wrecked by status. So um, I think it's fine. I think it's a good choice.
All right, and I've seen a lot of Gyarados, and I would like to ask, with considering the fact that the Gyarados has Intimidate and stuff, do you think Gyarados is going to be used a lot more often than it's going to be used right now, or do you look at Gyarados as a threat, or not really?
Gyarados is really good, but it's really well checked by Porygon too. So um, I don't see it really like becoming more used ever, unless for some reason people stop using Porygon. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely good. It's great, in fact, but just not something I expect to see a rise in usage anytime soon.
Yeah. Um, Now I'd like to ask about, um, you know, Cloyster. I mean, I've seen recently. I've been on the forums, and I'm looking for a shop to advertise on my YouTube channel because I usually do that, and I see this really crazy adamant Cloyster. I'm like, what is this? Why is this guy running this set? It's like ice spear, rock blast. I'm this is ridiculous. What's your intake on that one Cloyster I saw in the trade section on forums?
I'd say that person's crazy. It's a bad set.
Yes, I agree 100% with you. And the reason why I mention it is because I want our viewers to know that whenever you buy a comp, you want to make sure the comp is good or decent, or at least can pack a punch. Know what you want whenever you go to the trade corner of the forums. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I advertise comps on the on my channel on the forum, so that way people know which trade provider is authenticated. Like for instance, I advertised the Blue Shop. I advertised I think Draken Shop. You know, people that I know are reputable. So that's why I asked about it. All right, so um, one last poke. Wheezing. What is your intake on wheezing? My personal intake is like wheezing is like the punching bag.
Um, wheezing has been kind of unpopular lately. I don't really know why, other than it's less necessary. It used to be like, I've got this normal type special wall. Now I need some wheezing to keep it from um, taking too hard of a hit. But lately, it just hasn't seemed like that's what's going on. So I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah,
I'd say wheezing's okay, but not super viable. It opens the door for a lot of things to switch in, like Gengar, who's again really scary.
well, um can't wheezing advance predict and just do Will-O-Wisp whenever Gengar comes in for like that mixed focus puncher?
Yeah, but the focus punch set isn't super common right now, so it's still a little bit risky to. I mean, it's just hard to open yourself up to Gengar like that, you know. Like it just hurts when then you have to predict what it's gonna do to you next turn, and like especially if you Sludge Bomb or if you Thunderbolt or something, like it's just really hard for Weezing to deal, you know. And it doesn't help that things like Gyarados and Metagross can hit it really hard and kind of boost past it sometimes.
Yeah, like the agility set on Metagross, right?
Yeah, or I mean, if the Metagross is running Choice Band or you get a boost or something and you're already at 2/3 health, then that's a good game. You know, it's your wall is dead at that point. There are other things like Slowbro or Ludicolo that can kind of protect you a little better.
Yeah. What's what's the nature of run on Ludicolo?
Um, Personally, I think Bold because it's not really a good special wall. It's more like a utility wall, but I'm sure some people wouldn't agree with me there. I don't know. I like Bold.
Yeah. Well, Robo, thank you so much for coming on to the Roy Rogers News Network.
Yeah, not a problem, man. It's a good time.
Yeah, sure. Well, like I said, I don't know what to call this. Like maybe we can call this like the Roy Rogers News Call or something. You know.
For sure.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So this is the Roy Rogers News Channel. You can have a look at the current tier of OU. Here's a look at UU one more time. And NU is just too long to put on here. So yeah, you can look at NU on your own, but there's UU and there's OU. There you go. Alright, so this is the Roy Rogers News Channel. Don't forget to comment or subscribe to my channel, like or dislike the content that you see here. And this is the Roy Rogers News Channel. Signing off. Fast, accurate, unbiased. Roy Rogers News.